Hello and welcome to Neuro Navigator. Today we are going to be talking about Altemeyer's seminal work, The Authoritarian Specter, and how he defines authoritarianism. You may have heard of authoritarianism, which is widely regarded as a political system in which there is a strong central figure that strives to uphold a traditional status quo, allowing limited civil liberties and censoring the media. This kind of system is usually accompanied by silencing opposition and weakening the power of democratic systems. To many, this is not an appealing prospect, so researchers have long sought to identify why some individuals don't fight or even uphold authoritarian regimes. In The Authoritarian Specter, Altemeyer discusses a variety of research on authoritarianism with the assistance of an easy-to-test definition. He defines right-wing authoritarianism, which is the primary focus of discussion, and it's often shorted to authoritarianism, as three correlated attitudes. Number one, there is submission to perceived legitimate authorities. Number two, there is a general aggressiveness directed toward various persons and sanctioned by those established authorities. And three, there's an adherence to social norms or social conventions, even if they aren't as traditional as maybe authoritarians from decades past were. Right-wing authoritarianism is an orientation developed in an individual from a combination of nature and nurture, accounting for some impact of peer groups and direction, as well as what someone might be naturally predisposed to. In authoritarianism, perceived established authorities are the ones that generally have legal or moral authority, such as parents, religious officials, and civic officials. Often these authority figures' power lies in their ability to manipulate real authorities like God or the Constitution. Altemeyer's 1998 right-wing authoritarianism scale was made up of 30 items with 9-point Likert-like response scale questions. He proposed this approach to overcome the empirical limitations of previous research on authoritarianism, like that of Adorno, Frankwell-Brunswick, Levinson, and Sanford. Much research has been done on the correlation between right-wing authoritarianism, or RWA, and prejudice and ethnocentrism, and RWA is indeed a strong predictor. When new tests are created or new examinations are done of RWA, you will usually find parallels to ideology in which prejudice is a strong tenet. This is also why you'll often hear it referred to as right-wing authoritarianism, as the conservative and right-wing movements trend with personality traits examined by authoritarianism. Because many are uncomfortable with the idea that this can occur on only one side of the ideological spectrum, Altemeyer endeavored to examine left-wing authoritarianism and was unable to provide substantial results there. This is mainly because left-wing ideology is largely not centered in submission to cultural norms. Rather, as research by Nilsson points out, the perceived threats to left-wing ideology is not met with an establishment of norms, but of a tendency to do away with the established authority, alongside violence and repression aimed at values. However, this could shift, as ideology does. To summarize, authoritarianism is not tied to a particular ideology. Rather, it has been defined as a collection of personality traits used to evaluate trends in social psychology. It's important to note that just because someone scores high for authoritarianism does not mean that they are susceptible to fascism or other anti-democratic ideologies. Many things put us at risk, such as the current state of truth in our world, the delegitimization of truth, and many dogmatic views on utopia, apocalypse, and good and evil. All psychological characteristics cannot be simplified down to a single measure or a single test. This definition that Altemeyer proposes to study right-wing authoritarianism is most useful to view normative attitudes toward a political system, but it does not account for descriptive beliefs about the self or world, priorities of an individual, or moral or interpersonal characteristics. For a more holistic picture, we need to view those as well as structural predispositions like partisanship and fundamentalism. If you're interested in learning more about authoritarianism, please feel free to drop a question in the comments or follow along.